Hey everybody, it's Lynn from A Bit of Birdsong. I'm out at my desk in my workshop, which is called Paper Town. I love it out here. I was gonna do a video flipping through a couple of journals, but my desk was covered in all of this stuff and I really wanted to work with this a little bit longer. So I thought, I'll turn the camera on and maybe record for about 15 or 20 minutes. And then I will clean the desk off and have it clear so that I can do a couple of flip throughs. This is my fun pack from the ones that we sold yesterday. The cover I had already made, and let me show you, it's very eclectic. I love it. I've been wanting to make something that I can just stick things in as I come across them in the workshop out here when I'm cleaning up. Like if I sell some things and there are scraps left over, or after I make a journal, or if I have odds and ends, things that I find that I want to keep, keepsakes or ephemera, my ephemera. So this is just one piece of heavy canvas fabric, and I folded it in half after cutting it the size that I wanted it to be, and took it over to the sewing machine, and I thought, how would it be if I sewed in fabric pages, even if they were lightweight, and then put paper on top of those. So like this first signature is just a piece of cotton, and I sewed it just a straight line. You can probably see the stitching, even though I have distressed some, like you can see the lines. I did not sew a lot of signatures into this. This one is sewn in. Pull this up. This here is just one of the music pages that was in the fun pack that was already folded, and I put a strip of glue in between these two signatures and just pressed it in there with a piece of the polka dot ribbon underneath. And so there's two layers of glue. And then this is another signature that was sewn in with a sewing machine. So a piece of this beautiful fabric that my friend Martha Sue gave to me, I stitched that in with the sewing machine and then glued down a large piece of paper. You can see the original piece is this wide. It stopped right here. So I took an 8.5 by 11 and glued covered the rest of the fabric that didn't have paper on it. You can tell these are a couple of pieces from one of the book pages. This is a piece of the pretty scrapbook paper, and you know, none of this is careful. None of this is planned. This is not a themed book whatsoever. I love eclectic things like this, things that I can go back later and just sort of look at it and say, wow, look at this and look at this, and everything just blends together even though nothing matches. That'll be a pocket for something else. Okay, this is a signature that is just, again, one piece of fabric that I folded in half, laid the whole thing under the sewing machine and stitched. So that was the third signature, and here is the fourth one. You can see the stitching, maybe, from the sewing machine. And then the last signature is a piece of, it's an upholstery sample piece. Very beautiful, very raised and textured. They tend to unravel or ravel around the edges. And let's see, where's the other side of that? Okay, all the way over here. So I sewed that in with the sewing machine. You can't really see the stitching now. And the last thing I did before I went into the house 2 nights ago was to completely cover it in gesso so that it could dry overnight. And this, of course, that's the calendar page from the fun pack. That is taped in with masking tape because I knew that would sit or stick. Wait, is that masking tape? Duct tape. I knew it wasn't masking tape. The gold duct tape. So I knew that it would stick to this better than anything else that I had. Underneath that, you can see is glued one of the old book pages. Here are a couple of the little like journal cards. I just stapled a set of these around the edge, and like that one's got a little tear in it already. I do not worry about stuff like that. In fact, I think the more that you add, the more that you fix, the more that you use something, the more it becomes real and just fun and eclectic, and it feels used and worked in. And then you can see this is the wallpaper that was vintage, that beautiful lavender and blue and green. So there's a couple of pieces of that. And then, you know, I just sewed, and I did some of this under the sewing machine after the signatures were already in. It's not as hard as it would seem. You know, turning the book this way puts the bulk over here. Just make sure all your pages are pulled back. And obviously this was glued in after I attached these things to the front. But you know, you can sew and turn it this way. And then if you need to use your back stitch, do it. I don't try to turn all of this underneath the sewing machine. Anyway, I wanted to sit down and, oh, and there's the, so there's the little charm with the metal wings, which is really fun. I have more of these, so I will probably use another one to actually create something. And then that is my key tied onto a piece of the, like the bakery twine and the ribbon. I can't think today. I've been like this all day long. So what I'm doing now, we still have our little slides to use, and I've got lots of book pages, lots of ephemera, lots more scrapbook paper, but I thought it would be fun to just, you know, just have fun with this. It'll be fun to have fun. Jason picks on me very lovingly for saying things like that. I don't know if it's being Southern or just being me, but whatever. So let's cut this out. I love all the botanical things. It just seems like the more of that, the better, you know? So maybe that. And we could make a little frame to go around. And figure out. Oh, that's so pretty. So let's do this. Let's just, and it doesn't have to be perfect. Sometimes I think the more haphazard things are, you know, unless it turns into a complete disaster, just the more haphazard things are, the better sometimes. So let's just make a little cut and cut some area out of the center. We can go back and change up the size of this, but we don't want to cut it too large right off the bat. Ooh, that's perfect. That's perfect. So let's put this in. I'm not going to be working in this very long. Tomorrow is new inventory day for the shop, and I was just going through things last night, going through journals, beads, all sorts of stuff. And I do need to get some things listed, and I do want to show you a couple of the journals that I forgot I had. There are journals everywhere, and anyway, sometimes it's fun to go back and look. So let's put this right here. Yay, that's pretty. What else do we have in here? There's a lot in here. Flower seeds for fall sowing. See, we've got space under here, so I went ahead and put this little flip out page. That's probably going to tear, and that's okay. That is from one of the letters from the gold mine, or whatever, the shares in the gold mine. What would we want to put in here? Kale or, oh, what is that supposed to say? Broccoli? Is that the same thing as broccoli? I don't know. I know this book was really old. Woods Royal Pansies. So pretty. And then sometimes I look at these and think, oh, I want to save these and scan them. And that's that paper that just has the best feel to it. I wonder if I should, so let's turn this up this way and turn that in there. See what we can come up with here. Maybe we can insert another page somewhere. I know that we can. Oh, see? So let me show you how that's the space between two signatures that were sewn in with the machine. So I'm just going to go right through here with a good amount of glue. Maybe get a tiny bit more in there. And again, this does not have to be perfect. So let's take that right where the fold is and just push it where we want it to be. It'll stick. I just see a place where I want to put more glue. I'm actually going to put quite a bit more. And put that in there. Now, I don't want this to be moving around too much or pulling while I'm working on anything. So I'm going to make sure that it's pressed in there all the way. Maybe I better hold it for just a second. Let's get out a couple of large paper clips. And let's pull this up and make sure that's pressed down all the way. Yeah, okay, that's starting to stick. But I don't want this moving around, so let's go ahead and put a couple of paper clips on that. And I might just go ahead and stop. I know I barely worked in this, and we're going to work in it some more. I wanted to get it off of my desk, and I wanted to go ahead and show you what I'm working on with my fun pack. And obviously, this is a journal I made from things that, like the canvas fabric I already had here. That was not in the fun pack. Sometimes I do send fun packs, as you know, that have fabric or that have a book cover. The fun packs are always different, and I always try to get them fairly close to 2 pounds, you know, so that you end up with a lot of materials, but not so much that it's just outrageous to mail it, because then it's not good for either one of us. Oh, we've still got all those fun stickers to use. I guess one of the reasons I wanted to show you this too is just to say journals do not have to be some complicated thing that is perfect. If you can't, even if you can't sew in signatures or bind them by hand, I have put them in before using nothing but duct tape, and we can do one of those soon. Somebody mentioned not having a sewing machine, and you know, feeling like journals that had a hand or a sewing machine stitch, like that had been worked on with sewing, were so much more, I guess, interesting, more texture. And I've been there too. It's easy to feel like one that hasn't been sewn is less than, but it doesn't have to be. So, you know, even if you're working with a piece of corrugated cardboard and you're taping your pages in with duct tape, it's going to be beautiful. Okay, I'm going to get this desk cleaned off. I'm already working on it. Move this to the side, and I'm going to be back because I want to show you a couple of journals that I unearthed. And anyway, I will be back very soon, I promise. And bye for now.